Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya. If you don't know me already, you can learn more about me at my website at www.tanyaeva.com, or you can come connect with me over on my Instagram at tanyaeva. I am really passionate about helping professionals and entrepreneurs get to the next level in their career or their business. I teach a unique approach. I focus on the law of attraction principles, on conscious creation, on subconscious reprogramming and energetics and all that fun stuff. Now, I want to talk about motivation today. I had another topic planned, but this just came this morning as a wave of inspiration and I knew I had to follow it. I just felt like people really need this conversation to be had right now. And so here it is, guys. Motivation, such an overused word, and it's probably the most popular topic on YouTube. And I even used to want to be a motivational speaker. I used to get, comments all the time like, you're so motivational. But what I've found in my 30 young years of life, and I don't claim to know everything, but what I have learned in my own life and, when I've in my own career advancement and my own business, is that you can't find motivation and you can't seek it externally. Motivation always comes from within. I used to seek motivation on YouTube. When I was depressed 4 years ago, I was on YouTube just deep in the motivational videos, just trying to find what I thought at the time was motivation. But what I was actually seeking was relief. I was seeking relief from my everyday life. I was seeking relief from my own ambition and my own ego because I was this ambitious and, highly ambitious and driven young woman with very low self-esteem. And so I needed relief from my own dreams and visions and goals that I had no esteem to actually work towards and make progress on and to make them a reality. So that's why I was watching motivational videos. And I really want you to take away something I want to make an impact on you today. I want you to take away, the truth about why you're seeking motivation, why it's probably not working, and why you have highs of like, oh, I felt really good for that 5-minute video, or, it lasts a day and then it's gone the next day. And what I want to help you do in this video is to help you find lasting motivation. So like I said, I used to, watch motivational videos, especially, in my darkest hours when I was really depressed 4 years ago. I really had only narcissistic relationships up until I was about 25 or 26. So I was fighting the perspectives of those people in my life constantly while trying to chase and fulfill my own potential and fulfill my own dreams. And so I buried myself in the YouTube videos because it gave me relief. I was able to, relate to what the people were saying. It inspired me. It moved me. But guys, while it did inspire me for the day or two that I watched the video, it was like I needed a hit every time, like a drug, right? It became an addiction. And this is the thing. This is why motivational videos are so popular on YouTube, because people are coming for a hit. They're coming for relief from their everyday lives. And so while it's necessary, I know, and it's helpful, it definitely helped me in my darkest hours. What I found and what I've realized is that it didn't actually help me progress towards my goals. All I was actually doing in finding the relief, which is very necessary sometimes, but I was still avoiding the actual work I had to do in my own life to progress and move forward towards my goals. And so while I didn't even have much clarity back then, it was also a way for me to procrastinate. This is the ego's work and the subconscious mind. It's absolutely relentless in trying to stop you from fulfilling your potential. And so when people, seek out motivational YouTube videos, here's what happens. We seek out and we go and watch a YouTube video. It's all motivational or wherever you're watching it. And it's like someone really famous or someone you really admire, someone really influential or successful. And you're like, wow, that's so cool. Like imagine having their life or being like them one day or being that rich or being that successful. And our mind immediately projects onto them. and says things like, oh, but they come from privilege, or, oh yeah, but they have a supportive partner, so they can do that. Yeah, but they don't have kids, so they have all the time in the world to build a successful business. Or yeah, they were really, their parents were really rich, that's why they were able to. Like, our mind will come up with a million, every single excuse in the book to stop us from working towards our own dreams. And guys, I'm not saying you even have to be a millionaire. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got to do with progress towards your own ambitions and your own dreams. And watching motivational YouTube videos can actually distract you from doing the real work in your own life, and not escaping your own life and making it somewhere where you actually want to be. I don't believe that you can find motivation, and I don't even believe that you can cultivate ambition. So I'm really sorry if you clicked on this video hoping to find motivation. But I'm going to give you something else, something much more long lasting and much more effective. See, until someone is tested to their limits or they're suffering, they simply won't have motivation. And even if they do, they'll probably project it out or doubt themselves or procrastinate, because they just don't have the wisdom, the tools, or the knowledge to help them make their own dreams a reality. Please take this with a grain of salt. I know everybody has very unique circumstances, and this is not going to relate to everyone, but I'm not here to people please, to get likes or follows. I'm really here to make an impact and transform someone's life today. People ask me all the time, how do you stay motivated? Where does your ambition come from? And guys, it's something truly that I've had my whole life, but I will give you this, the way that I stay motivated, because for sure I told you 4 years ago I was depressed. I for sure have had moments where I was taking no action. I didn't know, I had no clarity on my future. I had no idea where my life was going. It was a really, really dark place. But the reason I'm so motivated is because I face off with that pain. I know suffering and I face it. I look right at it, and I actually seek out stories of suffering and despair. And what that does is, it doesn't get me all hyper and high vibe. What it does is it connects me to the truth of who I am as a human being. It connects me to humanity. And guys, this is what so many of you are missing. You're missing the point. Everybody's out there telling you to be positive and vibe high, and yes, your environment matters 100%, but we're so disconnected from real life, and people are out there manipulating and doing all this stuff to make money and to do things, and they're doing so in spite of their true authentic self, and also impacting others in that way. If you ever want real motivation, I would seek out stories and books like In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, who is a North Korean defector. And her story is one of incredible triumph, of heroism, and also healing. But it's also a story of deep pain and suffering and hopelessness and despair. And when you are able to see the humanity and the incredible obstacles that people have overcome that you can't even imagine would be like, guys, that's when you start to connect to your why and to your to your purpose, or whatever you are seeking, or motivation to actually take action. And guys, you don't have to be an altruist or a non-for-profit organization to do these things. Like, you can use this in your everyday life to just be a better person, to be kind to the person who's the waiter, or you can just use this in your own life to be a better person than you were yesterday. I remember, I want to tell you a story. I used to follow this Brazilian girl who I still follow. I absolutely adore her. She's an amputee, but she spreads messages of love and positivity. Really, her energy is so, so beautiful. And I remember in a very dark time, I was following her, and it really lifted my spirits. And I remember, I think I shared it on my Instagram or something. And someone I knew, not directly, but indirectly, shamed me for using her situation as inspiration or motivation for my own life. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I felt an instant pang in my stomach, like guilt, I'm using her as motivation. And at the time, I didn't know this. I actually felt really guilty. But I still knew my intuition there was also a slight bit of anger. And now in hindsight, looking back, I realize what that was. And that is that, guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is the very reason most people are not going to progress towards their goals, or at least they're not going to make any impact with the work that they're trying to do in their career or their business. And that is because of their own disconnection to their own humanity, to their own imperfections, to their own ego, and to their own flaws. And so what this person did when they shamed me was they actually put me down so that they could put themselves on a pedestal as if, look, I'm a better person. I don't use amputees as motivation. Or, look, I'm such a good person because of XYZ. And while this person didn't do it directly, and I don't think they meant any harm in any way, I'm just saying this is where you need to face off with your own flaws. And so that while she, shamed me, I faced off with my own flaws. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't be using her as motivation. But I also see it as its perspective, because there I was being my own, wallowing in my own misery, and I have a fully able body. So who am I to be feeling depressed when, there are people out there who need so much more than I do? And so it was a perspective game for me. It wasn't me trying to use anyone or do anything dark or sinister. And so once we understand humanity and just people in general, but also the more we face off with our own ego and our own shame and darkness, that's when we can really start to make an impact. That's when you feel motivated. That's when you start to think, okay, how can I make a difference? How can I, take action today on my dreams? People unknowingly are chasing an ideal. They're chasing some ideal of, being a good or perfect person in this world. And all that does is it actually makes it feel impossible to achieve, because it is. And so therefore we don't take action. And so chasing an ideal is never going to motivate you. But becoming a better person than you were yesterday, that's where the gold is. And that's where the motivation and the ambition lies. So whenever you find yourself seeking motivation or anything like that, inspiration, it's usually because of a lack of awareness about your own shadow. And this is something in your subconscious mind. You can't see it. Nobody can see their own shadow. I talk a lot more about this in my free training. If you are interested in learning more about how to break through to the next level in your career or business, this training is definitely for you. So you can register via the link that I leave in the description box below. And so, if you really think about it, how much more motivating is it to, for example, want to lose weight when you put on a piece of clothing that you used to wear, that you used to fit into, that you no longer fit into? It's like so depressing in a way that you're like, it's really motivating. It's much more motivating than buying a piece of clothing that you hope one day you may fit into. And so we're taking sometimes just the wrong approach to, staying motivated and trying to achieve our goals. Where, we're looking for the light in everything, but we're not facing off with the dark. And how motivating is it to be more charitable and more giving when we see an African child with flies around their head on TV and it makes us want to donate? That all comes from the right side of your brain. It's the intuitive, the emotional part of your brain that most of us aren't activating. We all live in the logical, analytical side of our brain. And it's not because we're not intuitive, we're just not focusing on it. We're not activating it. We're not working on those parts of ourselves. And guys, that's where the magic lives. That's where the gold is. And so whenever I was struggling to make progress, whenever I didn't feel motivated, I faced off with my own darkness, or I seeked out stories of suffering. And I want to give you, there's someone really influential, Jordan Peterson. I'm pretty sure he said in a video, I'm not sure where, it may have been when I saw him live in Brisbane in Australia, but he, in his house, has pictures of some of the darkest times of history, like I think the Nazis and like the Russian-Soviet war, the Cold War, and not because he is a fan by any means of these people. It's because he wants to remind himself of what human beings have been through and gone through, and the extent to which they will go to achieve their goals. And sometimes it's really not pretty. And so he reminds himself of some of the real suffering and evil that goes on in the world. And what that does is it actually motivates him to be a better person every day. And guys, this is the truth. And it's not pretty. And I know it's not the, most exciting way to look at motivation. But what I do know is that it moves me to take action. Most people are, telling you to vibe higher, to be more positive. And it's so important to cultivate, a positive environment, a healthy environment for you to be able to, pursue your dreams and goals. 100%. That's absolutely necessary. Although many people have defied the odds and, succeeded despite their horrific circumstances. But if you do feel like you're in a place of hopelessness or despair, I want you to remind yourself that this may be the contrast you need to live like you've never lived before. Dream like you've never dreamed before, and take action like you've never taken action before, because of the circumstance or situation you're in, not despite it. Gratitude goes a long way, y'all. And although it's never going to give you instant gratification, what it does is it gives you perspective. And that's all you need sometimes to truly find motivation within. Advancing your career, building a business, this is some of the hardest stuff you will ever do in life. Just, apart from maybe raising children. So don't be hard on yourself. Really seek the path of least resistance. And I know that feels like not facing off with your darkness, but that's where you find the relief, and that's where the flow and the motivation comes from. So if you're ready to take your career or business to the next level, and you're ready to break through some fears or some doubts or some, real heaviness that's going on, then book your free 30-minute breakthrough session with me via the link below, and we'll see if we're a good fit for my 6-week coaching program called The Revolution of You. And I hope that was helpful, guys, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Until next time, bye for now.